Today we're going to talk about how wood is cut and selected for guitar tops, spruce tops. The way it begins is cutting a billet from a tree and then splitting the billet. Where the wood splits naturally is the surface of the fibers of the wood, and that's what you're trying to maintain on the surface of the guitar top to give it its maximum strength. In the other direction, the other thing that's important is the annual rings of the tree should pass straight through the top. That'll also give it its maximum strength in the other direction. And so when these woodcutters cut these trees, they have to keep splitting them and making sure that when they're slicing those guitar tops off, that the annual rings are running straight through the end grain of the top. And there's a big difference in stiffness of a top, even if you're off by just a degree or two. It starts to lose its stiffness across. The reason they use spruce for a guitar top is that it's a very lightweight and very strong wood. So, and the reason for that is that it needs to be easily excited by the vibration of the string. The Sitka spruce top is the staple for most guitar companies these days. They didn't start using Sitka spruce really until after World War II, when they opened up Alaska to logging, which is where most of the trees come from. The trees are quite large and the yield is very high compared to the other spruce trees that species that we use, and therefore it made it much more affordable for the guitar companies. It's a great material, it's a great wood. Engelmann spruce is a very lightweight spruce, lighter than the others. It makes a good fingerstyle guitar, something that's a smaller body guitar. Doesn't work well on a dreadnought. European spruce tends to be a very lightweight spruce also, but has amazing strength and can work well on any of the models that we make. The wood that was used by the guitar companies previous to World War II was red spruce, which is the true name of the tree. It's also called Adirondack spruce because it grows in the Adirondack Mountains. It was originally harvested because of its great strength and light weight for ship masts, and that's where most of it was cut initially. It's very hard to find good quality red spruce because the trees aren't as big as some of the other species, so therefore the yield is low. The spruce that we use, I mean, we may be one top out of every 100 would be a good line of thought for that as far as what we would accept. Adirondack spruce is my favorite spruce. It has the best acoustic properties, in my opinion, of any of the spruces. There's a reason that the old guitar companies in the US used that wood initially. That's the spruce that they found and used in all those very expensive pre-war guitars that are sought after. And we're fortunate to still be able to get that, even though so much of it was harvested. When I look at a piece of spruce, I'll look at the piece of wood for its sound qualities first, and then I'll look at it for its aesthetic. And aesthetic is different for different people. It's a very common belief that tighter grain and uniform grain is a better guitar top. Well, aesthetically, maybe, but some people like something that has some difference in it across, some color streaks or something that makes it actually not look so homogeneous. Width of grain is doesn't have an effect on the acoustic properties of a piece of spruce. Wide grain can be just as stiff as tighter grain. And in fact, in some instances, if you have grain that's too tight and too close together, it's just adding extra weight to the piece of wood and it's inhibiting it. The pitch is, I don't go to, some note or anything like that. I'm listening to how excitable it is with how hard I'm hitting it. And I'm listening to if I think that it's still inhibited by being too thick and how much more I can take off of it. Right to that point where I don't take too much off. If a guitar top's too thick, it's not gonna vibrate to its maximum capacity because it's inhibited by too much stiffness in it because of the extra thickness. If its guitar top is too thin, it's gonna be too soft. You're losing strength the more material you take off, and it's going to have a less clear bass. It's not going to have as much power. So the guitar will sound not as clear, it'll sound more muddy. The first guitar that I logged in a book was number 299. And now we're at about, 21,745. We go through two steps when we thickness the top. The initial would be the heart of the guitar and how thick it should be. And then from there, I'll actually graduate the top and maybe thin the edge a little bit. And we're talking a very slight amount, but you want that top to be working uniformly across its surface. You're just trying to absolutely maximize that piece of wood. You're trying to make it have as much power and as much excitability as you possibly can. And we do that on every single top and every single guitar that we make individually. So we hope that makes a good product.